Some people are actually worried about bad basketball when the NBA returns. I'm not. Yeah, they've all been at home for like 4 months, but almost everyone is rested and healthy. We've never had that before. Normally we go into the playoffs after the grind of an 82-game season.
I'm burnt right now.
This year though, it's a small training camp, just 8 games, then the postseason. I think this could be the best NBA playoffs we have ever seen. The biggest benefit is rosters stacked with important players now healthy. We're gonna break down the 10 most important players who use the quarantine break to heal up. These are guys ranked in order of importance to their team and to the rest of the season as a whole. Hey, it's Casey, host of the AM Hoops YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, even though we don't have games. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We're making 5 videos per week. Also dropping 1 AM Hoops podcast per week, an emergency podcast yesterday about the NBA coming back. And today we're talking about the NBA coming back and guys who are healthy. Before we get to number 10 though, I gotta mention Kevin Durant. He's kind of the wild card here. Obviously, he would be number 1, the most important guy, but he can't be on our list because he hasn't said anything yet. I know people around him have said he's not coming back, and believe it or not, a lot of you don't think Kevin Durant should return. Almost 4,000 people voted in this poll. 81% of you said it was a good decision not to play. Look at this man dunk. Are you sure you still feel that way? Let me know in the comments, do you really still feel that way? I mean, a guy who can dunk like that and put his name in to be on the Olympic roster, played around the same time as this new playoff format, he should really sit out. Let's talk about guys who will play. Number 10, Dion Waiters. I know this is kind of breaking the rules because Dion Waiters is healing from being just a loose cannon, but people are forgetting about Dion Waiters on the Lakers. LA was gonna let him get reps in the G League before joining their rotation. Now they get a training camp and 8 regular season games to fit him in. Did Waiters let himself get out of shape? Maybe. I mean, recently he wrote this. Anyway, even if I was fat, I was still getting B-U-C-K-E-T-S, you feel me? Now he is cut. Dude has lost 13 pounds the last month and a half. He'll be on the same level as everyone else when play resumes. Quarantine has been good for Dion Waiters. Do not sleep on him. Number 9, Justise Winslow. People also forget about another ex-Miami Heat player. Justise Winslow played just 11 games this year with a back injury, and the Heat moved on without him. He's now in Memphis, and Dylan Brooks hinted he's gonna start. I think he should, and he should replace Kyle Anderson. Winslow isn't higher on our list though, because as talented as he is, I don't think he's gonna have a big impact for the Grizzlies, and he may even hurt their chemistry. Winslow's game evolved near the end in Miami because he played a lot of point guard for him. But obviously the Grizzlies have a point guard, a talented one. Ja Morant's got the ball most of the time for Memphis, so Justise will have to either move back off the ball or come off the bench. The Grizz will have to figure out what Winslow's role is, but I think even with a training camp, it's too short of a time to fit him in. Number 8, Kelly Oubre Jr. Kelly Oubre had surgery on his right ankle in May. His team would not have made the playoffs anyway, but now they have a chance because they're included at Disney World, and the Tsunami Poppy had time to heal. This dude posted a quarantine video on his IG. Okay, first of all, this is an amazing house. I want that backyard and that court, but he looks ready to go. This year he showed flashes of all-star potential. He's one of the most athletic forwards in the West. I don't want you to think I am underrating Kelly Oubre, having him 8th on the list. I just think even with him 100% healthy, the Suns aren't gonna do much damage. If their whole roster was entirely healthy, I still wouldn't bet on them to get that 8th seed. Number 7, Brandon Clarke. I do expect the Grizzlies to get the 8th seed. And Brandon Clarke is one of their most important players. The Grizz already have a 3.5 game lead with 8 games to play at Disney. Even if a team stays within 4 games and the Grizz are the 8th seed, they would have to lose twice in the play-in tournament. Clarke was the steal of the draft because he should be a Rookie of the Year candidate. He plays both ends well. He is first among qualified rookies in win shares and second in true shooting percentage. Clarke tweaked his quad, was supposed to return at some point this season. Now he'll definitely be ready to go. Number 6, Zach Collins. Now we get into the Trailblazers. What are they going to do with Zach Collins and Jusuf Nurkic healthy again? Now we'll get to Nurk specifically later on, but think about this. They signed Carmelo Anthony, traded for Hassan Whiteside before the season, Trevor Ariza during the season to fill in the gaps. Who comes off the bench here? First, let's tackle Zach Collins. He should replace Carmelo Anthony as a starter. Melo's been better than I thought, I'll admit that. But Collins and Ariza is a much better defensive duo, and that is exactly what the Blazers needed this year. Will Melo pout if he comes off the bench? Will he continue to score and defend like he has so far? I hope so. Number 5, Jonathan Isaac. Isaac had a serious knee injury on New Year's Day, although he did avoid needing surgery. Before he went down, though, he was Orlando's most important young player. Yes, even more than Markelle Fultz. Before the injury, Isaac's offense was improved, a career-high 12 points a game with about 7 boards on 47% shooting. On defense, he was elite, about 1.5 steals, 2.5 blocks per game. That puts him second in the entire league for blocks. Isaac's defensive playmaking and rim protection will be crucial for the Magic in Orlando. He's just not higher on the list because I don't expect the Magic to do anything against the Bucks in the first round. Number 4 is Marvin Bagley III. Now, Bagley and Jonathan Isaac are kind of neck and neck here, but I put Bagley as a little more important because he is the best rapper in the NBA. Seriously, this dude has more bars than Damian Lillard. Listen to this.
Look, riddle me this. How many records I need to put out so you know I can spit? Ain't popping no pills, you do as you wish, like Cole say. Take a look at my wrist, ain't got it on me, but I keep it on me when I go to events. And I got some homies that move in silence when the one around them, so you know they legit.
If he could only play defense that well. Bagley went down with a foot injury in January, and he was out indefinitely. Now, a Kings assistant coach says, quote, Bagley was hungry and he still is hungry. He is working his butt off to be a killer whenever this thing starts back up this season or next season. Well, now we know it's getting started July 31st. Rashawn Holmes has earned his spot at center. I think Bagley will start at power forward. That plus the Kings' talented backcourt could give the Grizzlies, Blazers, and Pelicans a run for their money. Sacramento, Portland, and New Orleans are all tied 3.5 games back of Memphis at this point. With Marvin Bagley, there is a much better chance they crash that party. On to the 3 most important now healthy players. At number 3 is Jusuf Nurkic. Getting Nurk back could be the difference of making and not making the playoffs for Portland. He was becoming a real third impact player for the Blazers before his ugly injury. Nurk had career highs in points, rebounds, and assists, his passing and offensive skills taking off. He is a better player than Hassan Whiteside, but I think Whiteside will continue to start. I mean, even though he's more talented, Nurk's been out of basketball for 19 months. But he is the 3rd most important now healthy player because that Blazers bench is gonna be dangerous. The realistic bench rotation will be Nurk, Melo, Gary Trent Jr., and maybe Nasir Little. That depth, plus the obvious talent and experience of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in the backcourt, I cannot wait and really hope we get a Portland against Memphis play-in tournament. Number 2, Malcolm Brogdon. A lot of the guys we have discussed are young or fringe players, but when Malcolm Brogdon is healthy, he was the engine of the Pacers this season. He was out indefinitely in March with a quad injury, but he now says he's 100% after quarantine. Brogdon averaged about 17 points and 7 assists a game this year. Not unbelievable stats, but he was letting other guys like Domantas Sabonis shine and kept them a playoff team while they got healthy. No one will want to face the Pacers with a healthy Brogdon and Victor Oladipo in the playoffs. Depending on how the final 8 games go, the Pacers could be favored in their first round matchup. I could even see an upset in the second round, and it's all because their key players are healthy. But the number 1 most important now healthy player is Ben Simmons. There was no doubt Ben Simmons would be in this spot. If you think his injury wasn't that serious, I get it. I mean, this was the injury. Doesn't look like much. Well, actually, it's called a nerve impingement in his back. And listen to Coach Brett Brown explain how painful it was.
That was as disturbing a memory as it relates to a player that I can think of. You know, he's lying on his back, he's vomiting, primarily because of pain.
Yeah, I'd say throwing up because of pain is kind of a big deal. After that, Simmons didn't even have a timetable to return. He'll be good to go though by July 1st. The extra layoff is a big deal because back injuries can linger. The Sixers have one of the most talented rosters in the league, and I can't wait to see how they react to all the games being on a neutral site. We know how awful they were on the road this year, but they don't stand a chance if Ben Simmons didn't get 100% healthy like he is now after quarantine. Let me know if I left anyone out or if you disagree with anyone on this list down below in the comments. My only actual concern here is more injuries like we see in normal preseason training camps. Actually, the German Soccer League has reported a 250% increase in their injury rate. We don't know what'll happen, cross our fingers there. We do know we're gonna get some really key players back for the playoffs. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.